Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. Today we have with us an art of living expert and an officer of the Vaidik Dharm Sansthan. So today we are going to discuss about the Pindadan and the inner meaning of Pindadan in bridging Vedic wisdom and art of living practices. So what exactly is Pindadan and why is it considered such an important samskara in Sanatana Dharma? Yeah, it is Jai Gurudev. Pindadan is a memorial service performed for departed ancestors, usually on Amavasya, Mahalaya, or during specific rites like Shraddh. The word Pinda means body or form and Dan means offering. The ritual symbolically assures the subtle body of the deceased that their desires and unfulfilled impressions are acknowledged, pacified, and release. Offerings like sesame seeds and water are made. Because sesame is small yet powerful, it represents the countless tiny desires of the mind. The ritual conveys your cravings will be fulfilled, you will get a body again, and you can move on in peace. Thus, it bridges the gap between the soul's craving for embodiment and its ultimate longing to merge with the infinite. Now, how does this connect with the teachings of Art of Living? Yes, Jagadam, in Art of Living, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji often says, life is a celebration, but we must also honor those who walked before us. The practice of Sudarshan Kriya and meditations help us drop impressions or samskaras stored in our mind. Similarly, Pindadan is a process of releasing impressions carried by departed souls. While the ritual is external and symbolic, the inner essence is about letting go, both for the departed and for the living family. In the ashram, when devotees participate in Shraddha or Pitru Tarpan, they also meditate and chant. This harmonizes the ritual with inner purification. Now, could you explain the scientific or psychological perspective behind sesame seeds, water, and chanting in Pindadan? Jayadeva, sesame seeds are carbon rich, absorbent, and used traditionally in purification. Symbolically, they absorb and neutralize lingering desires. Water represents flow and release. It carries away impressions. Chanting mantras during the ritual vibrates the subtle body, soothing it and guiding it toward higher realms. Even modern psychology agrees that unresolved grief, guilt, or attachment can be released through ritual action. Families who perform Pindadan often experience emotional closure and inner peace. And when combined with the pranayama, chanting, and meditation, the healing multiplies. The breath work dissolves subtle stress while the ritual addresses ancestral patterns. This is why Gurudev says, do not think rituals are just tradition, they are signs of consciousness expressed in action. Now, how do Art of Living in Vedic Dharm Sansthan collaborate in keeping these traditions alive today? Yes, we conduct Pindan, Pitru Tarpan, Shraddh ceremonies in sacred places like Bodh Gaya, Gayaji, Rishikesh, and also Art of Living says Bangalore Ashram. Our trained Pandits and Rishijis follow the exact Vedic tradition. At the same time, Art of Living participants are encouraged to combine the outer ritual with the inner practices. For example, after Pindadan, families often sit together for guided meditation, chanting of Om Namah Shivaya or Sudarshan Kriya. This ensures the soul's journey is supported at both the ritualistic and energetic levels. Now, finally, what is the core message for people in today's modern world about Pindadan? Do not dismiss it as a superstition. It's a sacred responsibility to honor your lineage. Just as we inherit DNA, we inherit subtle karmic impressions. Pindadan is a way of cleansing and expressing gratitude to ancestors, and when combined with meditation, seva, and knowledge, it becomes complete. In truth, Pindadana is not about death, it is about continuity of life, gratitude, and liberation for them and for us. Now, why is Pindadan considered essential for the soul's journey after death? According to the Garud Purana and other Vedic texts, when the body is left behind, the soul continues its journey in the subtle realm. However, the subtle body often carries vasanas or impressions or desires and attachments from the previous life. If these are unresolved, the soul feels restless and many struggle and may struggle to move ahead smoothly. Pindan acts like a bridge. The offerings of pinda or rice balls or sesame with water symbolically provide food, shelter, and comfort to the departed soul, assuring them that their needs will be taken care of and that they can release their attachments. This ritual not only benefits the departed but also purifies the lineage, bringing blessings to the living family. Without this, it is believed that ancestral dissatisfaction or pitru dosha may manifest as obstacles in their descendants' life. Now, in Art of Living, we see this as energy healing across generations. Just as meditation clears our own mind, Pindadan clears collective ancestral impressions. Gurudev often explains that gratitude to ancestors is essential because we are not isolated, we are part of a long chain of life. Performing this ritual consciously ensures peace, harmony, and continuity in the family energy field. Now, what is the significance of performing Pindadan at sacred places like Gaya, Rishikesh, or Varanasi? Yes, Jayudev, scriptures mention certain tirthas like sacred pilgrimage sites where rituals for ancestors hold amplified potency. Gayaji in Bihar, for example, is considered the foremost place for Pindadan because it is said that Lord Vishnu blessed this land with his presence to liberate the souls of ancestors. Performing the ritual here ensures not only peace for the departed but also liberation from cycles of rebirth. Similarly, in Varanasi, the presence of Lord Shiva grants ultimate release or moksha. Rishikesh and Haridwar, located on the banks of the Ganga, are also powerful because water here is not just physical but charged with divine vibrations accumulated through thousands of years of tapas and chanting. The flowing Ganga carries the prayers across realms, connecting the physical and the subtle. Families who perform Pindadan at these tirthas often report a deep sense of relief as if an unseen burden has been lifted. Now, when art of living participants perform Pindadan at such sacred places, they combine it with meditation, satsang, and seva. This ensures the ritual is not only a tradition but an inner experience. Sacred geography works like a magnifier of intention, and meditation adds purity to the offering. Together, they create profound healing for both the living and the departed. Now, what role do mantras and chanting play in Pindadan? Yeah, the mantras are not mere words but vibrations that resonate at a subtle frequency. During Pindadan, the chanting of mantras like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Pitru Gayatri, or verses from the Rig Veda invoke divine energies and guide the subtle body of the departed toward higher realms. The sound waves create an environment of peace, dissolving restlessness in the soul. Just as music calms the human mind, mantras calm the subtle body of the deceased. They serve as a spiritual compass, reminding the soul of its higher purpose. The ritual becomes effective only when performed with the proper chanting, as the vibrations align with the individual mind with the cosmic consciousness. Now, in Art of Living, we integrate mantra chanting with breath and meditation. Gurudev says that sound is energy, and the right sound can dissolve lifetimes of impressions. When families chant together, they heal not only their ancestors but also their own minds. For example, chanting Om Namah Shivaya after the ritual purifies the environment and helps everyone experience closure. It bridges the outer ritual and the inner journey. Many participants have shared how chanting during Pindadan gave them a sense of both gratitude and release, making the ritual deeply transformative. Now, why are sesame seeds specifically used in the Pindadan offerings? Sesame seeds or tilla hold a very deep place in Vedic ritual. Scriptures describe them as a purifier of karmic impressions. The size of sesame is small, yet it carries immense potency, symbolizing that even the smallest desire or thought in the subtle body can carry weight in the afterlife. By offering sesame seeds, we symbolically acknowledge these countless desires and pray for their dissolution. When sesame is offered with water, it becomes an act of surrender, teaching the soul that desires are transient like seeds and only merging with the infinite. Consciousness is eternal. This ritual also purifies the one performing it, reminding them of impermanence and humility. Now, from a spiritual science point of view, sesame seeds are carbon rich and absorbent, which is why they are seen as capable of absorbing lingering impressions. In the art of living, we often connect this with meditation. Our thoughts are like sesame seeds, tiny yet numerous, and through meditation, we learn to let them dissolve. Gurudev beautifully says, life becomes light when you stop clinging to seeds of desire. So, when families perform Pindadan with sesame and later sit for meditation, they are practicing the same principle both outwardly and inwardly. Now, how does water play a role in Pindadan rituals? Jayagurudaya, water is life itself. It flows, cleanses, and carries in Pindadan. Offering water with sesame seeds or rice balls represents releasing the soul's attachments into the flow of existence. Just as rivers eventually merge with the ocean, the rituals teaches the soul to flow back into the infinite. Water also symbolizes emotions. By pouring water while chanting, we release suppressed grief and longing in sacred rivers like the Ganga, Yamuna, and Godavari. The act becomes even more powerful because the water is infused with centuries of spiritual vibrations. It is said that water carries our prayers to the subtle realms. In Art of Living, we often guide participants to release pain or stress through breathing and visualization, letting it flow away like water. The same metaphor is present in Pindadan. When we pour water, it is not just for the departed soul, it heals the living too. Many people cry during the ritual, and that is cleansing. Gurudev often reminds us tears are sacred when they flow in remembrance, gratitude, or surrender. Thus, water becomes both a carrier of prayers and a healer of hearts. Now, how does the Pindadan help the living family apart from helping the departed soul? Pindadan is as much for the living as it is for the departed. When a family loses someone, there is grief, guilt, or a sense of incompleteness. Sometimes there are regrets, I should have done more, or I wish I said this. The ritual gives them a sacred channel to express these emotions and release them. In Vedic tradition, we also speak of a Pitru dosha, or a disturbance in family energies due to unfulfilled duties towards ancestors. Performing Pindadan clears these blocks, restoring harmony and prosperity. The ritual also creates a sense of continuity that death is not the end but a passage. Gurudev often says, when you honor your ancestors, you free yourself. This is psychological as well as spiritual. Families feel lighter after Pindadan, as if a hidden weight is gone. In Art of Living, we guide people into meditation after rituals, which deepens healing. It's like completing a cycle, first expressing through ritual, then resting in silence. Many families share that after doing Pindadan, conflicts reduce, children study better, finances stabilize. These are blessings that come when ancestral energies are pacified and gratitude is expressed. Now, what happens if someone does not perform Pindadan for their ancestors? The scriptures caution that ignoring ancestral duties creates an imbalance, just as ignoring parents in life leads to guilt. Ignoring rituals for the departed may cause subtle disturbances. These can manifest as health issues, financial struggles, relationship conflicts, or lack of peace in the home. This is called Pitru dosha. It doesn't mean punishment, but rather an energetic reminder to honor the roots from which we come. Without gratitude, even the strongest tree cannot flourish. Pindadan restores this gratitude and flow. Now, in Art of Living, we don't frame it as fear, but as responsibility. Gurudev explains your body, breath, and mind are gifts from countless generations. When we neglect to honor this chain, we unconsciously carry heaviness. Without Pindadan, grief also remains unresolved in families, sometimes passing through generations. Doing the ritual combined with meditation gives closure. Even if someone hasn't performed it for years, starting today makes a difference. Conscious action is never wasted. The love and gratitude expressed reach beyond time and space. Now, how does Art of Living integrate modern seekers with traditional rituals like Pindadan? Many modern people find rituals complicated or outdated. That is why organizations like Art of Living act as a bridge. In Art of Living ashrams. We train priests in authentic Vedic traditions but also explain the meaning in simple language. Families are not just asked to do this, do that, but are educated on why each step matters. This creates faith and connection. Yes, Gurudev has simplified the essence. He says rituals are outer expressions of inner truths. So, in Art of Living, after performing Pindadan, we guide people through meditation, chanting, and satsang. This makes the ritual experiential, not mechanical. For example, while offering water, families are asked to silently recall happy memories of their ancestors and release them with gratitude. Such blending makes even young participants feel connected. It's not blind tradition anymore, it becomes a conscious act of love and letting go. This integration is why thousands now do Shraddha and Pindadan in Art of Living ashrams across India and abroad. Now, can Pindadan be performed online or through Sankalpa by priests on behalf of families? Yes, in today's world, many cannot travel to Gaya, Kashi, or Haridwar. Vedic Sansthan has trained pandits who can perform rituals on behalf of families when they give a sankalpa or intention with proper name, gotra, and details. The ritual carries the same power because consciousness is not bound by distance. What matters most is sincerity. Even if a son or daughter is abroad, their offering can reach the departed through intention and mantras. Now we see this in Art of Living too. Many NRI devotees register for Pindadan in Bangalore Ashram or Rishikesh. They join via live stream, chant along, and meditate at the same time. The combination of technology and tradition is powerful. Gurudev explains wherever your mind is, your prayer reaches. If done with devotion, the ritual is equally effective online. Of course, being physically present at a tirtha adds extra depth, but distance is no barrier when devotion is true. Now, what is the connection between Pindadan and karma? Jai Gurudev. Karma is not only individual but also collective. Families carry ancestral karmas, the virtues, strengths, and also unresolved patterns. When a soul departs, its karmas are not instantly dissolved. Some impressions linger, seeking resolution. Pindadan helps release these karmas, offering peace to the soul and freedom to the descendants. It's like settling an ancestral account, so the flow of blessings is restored. Without this, descendants may unconsciously repeat patterns of suffering. Now, in Art of Living, we view karma as impressions on the mind through meditation. We dissolve personal karma through seva and rituals. We help dissolve collective karma. Pindadana is a seva to ancestors, a way of honoring their journey and clearing shared karmic debts. Gurudev says, when you do good for your ancestors, your path becomes smooth. So, karma here is not a burden but an opportunity to grow in gratitude and responsibility. When families combine Pindadan with seva and sadhana, karmic transformation becomes complete. Now, how is food or anna connected with the Pindadan? Regular food is considered Brahman in the Vedas. Whatever we eat becomes a body, mind, and energy. During Pindadan offering, rice balls or pinda symbolizes nourishing the subtle body of the departed, giving it strength for its onward journey. Food also represents love. Feeding ancestors is like saying, may you never feel any lack. Ritualistically, rice, barley, and ghee are used because they carry high sattvic vibrations. Sharing this food later as prasad binds the family in unity. It's a reminder that just as food sustains the living, prayers sustain the departed. Now, in Art of Living, food is central too. Gurudev often emphasizes eating with gratitude and offering the first morsel to the divine. When we prepare sattvic meals, chant, and share food with others, it becomes seva. Pindadan connects directly to this principle. Food is not only for the body but also for the soul. I have seen families experience closure simply by preparing and offering food with love. It transforms grief into gratitude. Just as the body needs nourishment, the soul to receive subtle nourishment through prayers offered with food. Now, how do different regions in India perform Pindadan differently? India's diversity shines in rituals. In Gaya or in Bihar. Pindadan is performed on the banks of the Falgu River with offerings of rice, sesame, and prayers to Lord Vishnu. In Kashi or Varanasi, rituals are done before Lord Shiva, symbolizing liberation through the destroyer of ignorance. In South India, places like Rameshwaram and Sri Rangam hold ceremonies near the sea. Bengal has rituals during Mahalaya Amavasya, where families feed priests and crows, symbolizing ancestors. Each region adapts rituals to local traditions, but the essence remains the same, honoring and liberating the departed. Now, this diversity reflects Gurudev's teaching that truth is one but expressions are many. Just as meditation techniques differ but lead to silence, so too rituals differ but lead to peace for the soul. Art of Living participants from different regions often share that performing Pindadan in their local way gave them authenticity and connection. The heart of the practice is sincerity, not uniformity. Now, why is Gaya considered the most sacred place for Pindadan? Jagrudev, Gaya is unique because it is believed Lord Vishnu granted liberation to the demon Gayasura there. Scriptures say that performing Pindadan in Gaya assures a peace for 14 generations of ancestors. The Falgu River, the Vishnupat temple, and Akshayavat or immortal banyan tree hold immense spiritual vibrations. Saints and sages have performed rituals here for millennia, making the place charged with spiritual energy. Pilgrims feel a sense of lightness as if the burden of lineage has been lifted. Gaya symbolizes a spiritual hotspot where prayers multiply. Gurudev often says that places vibrate with the energy of what has been practiced there. Just like our ashram in Bangalore feels charged due to continuous meditation and chanting, Gaya too carries that field of liberation. Many Art of Living participants who visited Gaya after Sudarshan Kriya shared that their experience of Pindadan was more profound as their minds were already still and receptive. Now, why is Amavasya or new moon considered ideal for Pindadan? Amavasya is the time when the sun and moon align and the pull on subtle energy is the strongest. Our scriptures state that ancestors are closest to the earthly plane on Amavasya, making it easier to connect with them through prayers. Offering pindas and chanting mantras on this day nourishes their souls and helps them evolve. It is also symbolic. Just as the sky is dark, we acknowledge the unseen realms and our duty towards them. Pitru paksha, the fortnight of ancestors, falls during Amavasya, highlighting its significance. Now, energetically, Amavasya represents inwardness. Gurudev says The mind is more sensitive and open to meditation during new moon. When Pindatan is performed, families naturally turn inward, remembering loved ones. Chanting and meditation on Amavasya can dissolve karmic impressions faster. Many participants in Art of Living satsangs share how their meditation feels deeper during new moon. Combining rituals with inner silence creates a bridge between tradition and a personal transformation. Now, what is the connection between Pitru Paksha and Pindadan? Yes, Shagur, the Pitru Paksha is a sacred 16-day period dedicated entirely to honoring ancestors. Scriptures say ancestors descend to accept offerings during this time. Performing Pindadan in Pitru Paksha is like inviting them home, giving them nourishment, and blessing them for liberation. Each day has significance, but the Mahalaya Amavasya is considered the culmination. Families across India gather, cook sattvic food, feed priests, cows, and birds, symbolizing offerings to the Pitras. Now, in Art of Living, Pitru Paksha is seen as a time of gratitude. Gurudev teaches that a life force is not just ours, it is inherited. Remembering ancestors with love rather than grief creates healing. Participants often say that doing seva, satsang, or meditation during Pitru Paksha gave them immense peace. So, Pitru Paksha is not only ritualistic but also an opportunity for collective healing, gratitude, and service. Now, how do donations and dakshina relate to Pindadan? Dakshina is the expression of humility and gratitude after rituals. Giving to priests, cows, or the needy completes the cycle of offering. In Pindadan, this act symbolizes giving up attachment to wealth and sharing blessings. Scriptures emphasize that without clarity, the ritual is incomplete because true honoring of ancestors is seen in continuing their values, generosity being foremost. Gurudev says, giving opens the heart, and Art of Living donations sustain seva projects and spread knowledge. Similarly, in Pindadan, Dakshina is not a transaction but a sacred gesture. When given wholeheartedly, it verifies both giver and receiver. It shifts the ritual from personal to universal, reminding us that honoring ancestors also means serving society. Now, how does the Pindadan help in resolving family disputes? Often unresolved ancestral karmas manifest as conflicts among descendants. When rituals are performed sincerely, the blessings of ancestors create harmony. Families report reduced tensions after Pindadan as if unseen blocks dissolve. The act of sitting together for a shared purpose also heals the interpersonal wounds. Rituals create external closure while meditation creates inner closure. When both are combined, bitterness dissolves. Gurudev says, forgiveness flows naturally when the heart is full. Pindadan often becomes a catalyst for family reconciliation, reminding members that life is short and love is more important than pride. Now, is Pindadan only for Hindus? Though rooted in Vedic tradition, the essence of Pindadan is universal, honoring those who came before us. Many from different faiths participate, adapting the ritual respectfully. The principle of gratitude to ancestors transcends religion. Gurudev always says spirituality is universal, honoring parents and ancestors is a human value, not a sectarian one. In Art of Living, people from all backgrounds find resonance with Pindadan because it is about closure, gratitude, and peace. Now, how do crows and animals fit into the ritual? Traditionally, offerings are placed for crows, cows, and dogs. Crows are seen as messengers of ancestors. When they accept food, it is believed the offerings reach the pitras. Feeding animals represents extending compassion to all beings, which releases and pleases ancestors. In Art of Living, seva often includes feeding stray animals, birds, and crows and cows. Gurudev says compassion to all life forms expands our consciousness. In the Pindadan, when food is shared with animals, the act aligns with this seva spirit, bridging ritual and universal love. What if one cannot travel to sacred places like Gaya? Scripture suggests that performing rituals at home or in local temples with sincerity is equally beneficial. However, priests can also represent families in Gaya or other tirthas. The intention and devotion matter more than geography. Gurudev emphasizes that consciousness is beyond place. Wherever you sit with devotion, the prayers reach. Many Art of Living participants perform Pindadan in ashrams or at home, followed by meditation and satsang. They report that same sense of release as those who travel to sacred sites. Now, how does meditation deepen the effect of Pindadan? Meditation calms the mind of the performer, allowing the ritual to be done with sincerity. A restless mind cannot invoke blessings fully. When meditation is added, the ritual shifts from formality to inner transformation. This is where Art of living beautifully complements tradition. Gurudev often guides people into meditation after rituals so they can directly feel peace within. Participants often share that after meditation they sense their ancestors' presence or blessings more tangibly. Meditation transforms Pindadan into a personal spiritual experience. Now, can Pindadan help those who died suddenly or unnaturally? Yes, in fact, scriptures emphasize that those who left suddenly through accident, war, or suicide often need special rituals. Such souls may feel restless because their journey was cut short. Pindadan gives them nourishment and direction like a guiding light. Through mantras and offerings, peace invoke peace for them. Families who perform this ritual often report that their grief lightens, and if the soul has accepted the prayers and moved on. The ceremony is not just for the departed but also for the living, offering closure and healing. Now, from Gurudev's perspective, sudden deaths create strong impressions in both the departed and their families. Meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, and chanting can help dissolve these impressions. When combined with rituals like Pindadan, the effect is profound. I have met participants who lost loved ones in sudden accidents and later performed Pindadan at the ashram or a holy site. They shared how meditation allowed them to release the trauma, while the ritual gave them a sense of connection with their departed. It became a complete healing. Gurudev often says death is not the end, it is a continuation. Pindadan honors this truth by helping both sides transition gracefully. Now, how is Pindadan connected to Pitru Paksha? The Pitru Paksha fortnight dedicated to ancestors is the most auspicious time to perform Pindadan. Scriptures say that during this lunar period, the veils between the worlds of ancestors, the Pitru Loka, and the humans are thinner, allowing offerings to reach them easily. Performing Pindadan in Pitru Paksha ensures that our ancestors bless us abundantly for the year ahead. Holy sites like Gaya, Prayagraj, and Rameshwaram see thousands of families come together for this ritual. In Art of Living, we view Pitru Paksha as a time for gratitude meditation. When combined with rituals like Pindadan, it creates balance in life. Gurudev says that remembering our roots brings humility. During Pitru Paksha, people are encouraged to meditate deeply, chant mantras, and dedicate good actions to their forefathers. This way, not only does the ritual serve the ancestors, but it also transforms the living by cultivating a heart full of gratitude. Now, what is the significance of sesame seeds in the ritual? Jaguar sesame seeds are symbolic. They represent the countless desires and impressions in the subtle body of the departed. Tiny in size, they signify that all desires are ultimately small when compared to infinite consciousness. By offering sesame with water, we tell the soul, let go of these small desires as merge with the infinite. It is an act of detachment and fulfillment. Gurudev often says that rituals are deeply symbolic psychology. When we offer sesame seeds, it's a reminder to us to let go of petty desires, just as sesame seeds dissolve in water. So should our grudges and cravings dissolve in the flow of life. Many people share that this simple act in Pindadan helps them reflect on their own attachments and inspires them to live more freely. Now, why is water offered along with sesame? Yeah, the water is life. Every being from plants to humans survives on it. In rituals, water represents purity, continuity, and the unbroken stream of blessings. When we pour water with sesame, it symbolizes letting desires flow away while granting nourishment to the soul. Water also connects the earthly plane with the subtle realms, acting as a carrier of intentions. In meditation, water is often used as a metaphor for the mind. Fluid, adaptable, reflective, offering water in Pindadan reminds us to keep our mind pure and transparent so it can carry blessings. Gurudev encourages people to consciously offer water daily to the sun, rivers, or even a tulsi plant as it creates harmony with nature. In the context of Pindadan, this harmony extends to our ancestors as well. Now, what role do priests play in the ritual? Priests are custodians of Vedic knowledge. They chant the precise mantras, guide the family in correct offerings, and ensure that the ritual aligns with tradition. Without guidance, one may miss subtle details that are spiritually important. The priest also acts as a spiritual bridge between the family and the departed soul, invoking divine blessings to sanctify the ceremony. While the priest guides the ritual externally, Gurudev reminds us that the inner connection is equally essential. If done mechanically, even the most precise ritual loses its depth. Hence, during Pindadan, we encourage participants to sit with closed eyes, chant mantras wholeheartedly, and feel gratitude. The priest provides structure, the family provides devotion. Together, the ritual becomes complete. Now, how does the Pindadan differ when done individually versus collectively? Yes, Jai Gurudev. Individually performed Pindadan focuses on one's own ancestors and is highly personalized. Collective Pindadan, often organized at ashrams or pilgrimage sites, carries the power of mass chanting and collective energy. Both are valid. One offers intimacy and the other magnifies the effect through group vibrations. Art of Living often organizes collective Pindadan at its ashrams. The power of hundreds chanting together cannot be underestimated. Gurudev explains that collective intention has a multiplier effect. Families feel supported and the environment becomes charged with sacredness. At the same time, doing it individually at home with devotion can be equally transformative, as sincerity is the true key. Now, what is the connection between Pindadan and karma? Karma binds not only individuals but also family lines. Our ancestors' actions influence our lives just as our actions will affect future generations. Pindadan helps to balance and release karmic debts at the ancestral level. By offering pindas, water, and prayers, we acknowledge any unfulfilled duties and seek forgiveness. This ritual doesn't erase karma but creates harmony between generations, allowing blessings to flow more freely. When karmic knots are loosened, families often experience greater peace, prosperity, and progress. Now, Gurudev explains karma as impressions stored in the consciousness. Sudarshan Kriya and meditation dissolve personal karmas by releasing impressions. Pindadan does something similar for collective or ancestral karma. Many who perform it report that persistent obstacles in career, relationships, or health start to ease. In Art of Living, we combine these rituals with practices like Nadi Shuddhi and Sankalpa meditation so participants feel both the inner lightness and external blessings. Karma is continuity, and rituals like Pindadan remind us that healing must happen not just for ourselves but for the entire lineage. Now, is Pindadan only for Hindus or can people of other faiths participate? Traditionally, Pindadan is rooted in Sanatana Dharma, but its essence of honoring ancestors is universal. Every culture has memorial rituals, lighting candles, offering prayers, or building monuments. At Vaidik Sansthan, we have seen people from different backgrounds participate respectfully. What matters is sincerity, not the label of religion. The soul doesn't belong to any religion, it belongs to the infinite. Gurudev always emphasizes universality. He says spirituality unites, religion divides. In Art of Living programs, people from diverse faiths have joined rituals like Pindadan simply as an act of gratitude. Some silently pray in their own tradition. While the Vedic mantras are chanted, the atmosphere is inclusive. Ultimately, this ritual is about love, remembrance, and completion, values that transcend boundaries. Now, can Pindadan be done for ancestors beyond immediate parents and grandparents? Yes, scriptures state that Pindadan benefits not just parents and grandparents, but even ancestors going back several generations. The ritual reaches those who may not have received proper rites at the time of death. In some cases, entire family trees are blessed, dissolving unresolved issues across generations. This is why many families perform Pindadan collectively, dedicating it to all known and unknown ancestors. In Art of Living, we connect this concept with epigenetics. Science now shows that unresolved traumas and tendencies are passed down through generations. Rituals like Pindadan act as a spiritual form of ancestral healing, cleansing the subtle impressions. Gurudev often says, you are not just your body, you carry generations within you. By honoring all ancestors, we free ourselves and our descendants from hidden burdens. Now, what happens if someone cannot perform Pindadan physically at pilgrimage sites? Traditionally, places like Gaya, Prayagraj, and Rameshwaram are considered powerful. However, if one cannot travel, the ritual can be performed at home or through authorized representatives. Our Sansthan organizes online and proxy rituals, ensuring mantras are chanted correctly. Scriptures say intention or bhava matters more than location. If performed with devotion, the blessings reach the ancestors regardless of place. Now, in Art of Living, Now, in Art of Living, Gurudev often emphasizes sankalpa or heartfelt intention. Even if someone is overseas, they can meditate, chant, and join virtually. The vibrational field of intention transcends geography. Families who cannot reach India often participate online, and many share experiences of relief and peace. The outer ritual is location based, but the inner offering happens in the heart. How does one prepare mentally before performing Pindadan? There, the preparation is as important as the ritual. One is advised to maintain purity in food, speech, and thought. For a few days prior, bathing early, wearing clean clothes, and cultivating a sattvic mind ensures the rituals' effectiveness. The attitude should be of humility and gratitude, not compulsion. In Art of Living, we suggest participants do pranayama, meditation, and chanting before rituals. This quiets the mind so the person is not distracted during the ceremony. Gurudev says, go into the ritual like a flower, fresh, open, and fragrant. The more centered you are, the deeper the connection with your ancestors becomes, Jai Gurudev.